If there's one thing you'll never catch us doing at Rising Health Family Chiropractic, it's only giving you one choice for your child's health. We want to look at that: is there a sequence, or really is there a root cause? And there's never been a better thing to do this with than anxiety and overwhelm in kids. But I want to tell you a story about Izzy. Izzy's a patient whose parents found us because she was struggling with school refusal, and she would just feel really anxious and overwhelmed. She would oftentimes feel sick in her tummy, just leading to meltdowns and extreme behaviors, all because she was anxious and overwhelmed with school. Now, 4.4 million Americans every year struggle with anxiety, and especially with kids. This can lead to school refusal, decreased social interactions, not wanting to do things, go to birthday parties, and just do everyday life. And for parents, this can be so overwhelming as well, because all you want for your kids is to have good experiences. But if they're refusing to do them, there's oftentimes no way to make that change. Now, compound that where the traditional medical response to this is predominantly medications. Many parents are looking for other options. And that's what I really want to talk about today, because being nervous and anxious can be very normal human responses. But when kids perceive threats, they perceive things from the environment triggering a fight, flight, or freeze response. That often can go way overwhelming, and it can lead to debilitating anxiety when there's school refusal, not going to parties, not having the social interactions, not wanting to do those things. And those create significant issues in our daily lives. Now, common symptoms with kids of this can range in a variety of different things. A lot of times, anxiety, anxiousness, overwhelm can get connected with a gut and indigestion where they feel like they have tummy aches. They might get more constipated. They might feel like, just, I don't know why, but I just don't feel good. I'm like, well, where don't you feel good? And they don't really know. It's like, I just don't, it just doesn't feel right. My tummy might hurt. Can't take a deep breath, feel really stressed and in pain, because there is a really physical side of anxiety that ties in, because one important part of the body is that's being affected is the mind. And if the mind is affected, the body is affected. And that's where we look at this as pediatric chiropractors, because subluxations or stress within the nervous system, it really affects this in kids. Now, there's two sides to the nervous system: the sympathetic response and the parasympathetic response. Now, the sympathetic response is that fight, flight, or freeze. And that oftentimes is where kids get stuck when they struggle with anxiety. When they struggle with anxiety, that heightens that fight or flight response. It causes them to go into protection. And a lot of times when kids have experienced this with a lot of experiences over time, that vicious cycle or that loop becomes neuroplastic and not a good way for them. And what that does, it creates these experiences to their nervous system needs to go, and they then can't get out of that. Now, our goal is to allow the body to know when it's safe and know when it should be in protection. We should be able to be in that sympathetic side when we need to be protected, or we need to get out of a situation, or we need to play a sport or take a task or a test. It's okay to be on that sympathetic side, but we also need to be able to turn that off so we can turn the parasympathetic side on. And that's the rest, digest, social interaction, and just really enjoying and refueling with life. Now, when kids get stuck in this really kind of debilitating sympathetic overload, that is often due to one aspect of the nervous system, the vagus nerve, really being overwhelmed. Now, the vagus, it sits right here underneath the cranium, and the vagus nerve is designed to be a sensory modulator for the body. It connects to the tummy, the gut, and then goes up to the lungs, even the heart, and it really controls a lot of what we call the autonomic or automatic function of the body. It's actually designed to help cause that parasympathetic system to go up and our sympathetic system to tone down. So it gets our kids out of stress. When we're stressed there, that often happens for kids, throughout their life, whether it be from a difficult birth process where there's, trips and falls and development, emotional stressors along the way, or even chemical or toxic stressors that have come in. It causes this vagus nerve to not be as active and be more stuck in sympathetic dominance for our kids. Now, what we love to do is help. We want to measure this, what the vagus nerve is doing. We want to look at what this vagus nerve controls, the autonomic nervous system overall, to determine, okay, is a kiddo stuck in sympathetic dominance, or are they able to adapt and go back and forth. For Izzy, this was absolutely the case because her nervous system was stuck more in sympathetic dominance and overwhelm. She couldn't get out of it no matter what mom or dad did. No matter the star charts, no matter the rewards, no matter the bribing, they couldn't get her to turn off that protective mode and instead get her system to say, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be safe. You just got to get through this experience, and I promise it's going to be good. But it just didn't feel like that in her mind that it would. That's what we want to measure, because if we can measure that, then we can develop a care plan and say, okay, let's help take that stress away. And by taking that stress away, what that does, it allows the brain to interpret better and be able to balance the sympathetic stress and the parasympathetic stress. So if your kids have struggled with anxiety or with overwhelm, with any type of behaviors that you feel you've done, all the things that could be tied then back to their nervous system, let us help. Let us measure it. Let us develop a care plan and look into how we can help. Because a lot of times with big things like anxiety, overwhelm, and emotions, it goes a lot deeper than the surface. And that's where we're here to help. So if you need any more info, comment below, send us a DM, go and check out the articles on this. We would love to help you find a deeper solution. Because if you're like Izzy's parents, you've tried everything and just nothing is working. Let us help you dig deeper to get to the root cause. God bless.